I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Congressman Dan Crenshaw questioned Health and Human Services Secretary Becerra on Wednesday. The Texas Republican went after Becerra over what he claimed are inconsistent COVID policies. The congressman also cited recent reporting that claims the U.S. will see approximately 18,000 migrants a day at the Mexico border if Title 42 is lifted. Crenshaw began by directly asking the secretary why he wanted to end Title 42. Take a listen to see how Becerra responded.
The chair is pleased to recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Crenshaw, for your 5 minutes to question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you and the ranking member for holding this important hearing. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for joining us in person. I got to say, it seems like there's some bipartisan agreement on how CMS does approvals, so that's good to hear as well. It's not what I want to talk about, though. I want to talk about Title 42, as you can imagine. Mr. Becerra, I want to ask you, why do you want to end the expulsions at the border currently authorized under Title 42? I want to understand this.
Congressman Crenshaw, let me try to explain. We don't base determinations about Title 42, which is a healthcare law that deals principally with quarantining activities. We don't base those on what is occurring in terms of the border on immigration. It is a healthcare measure, Title 42, that is rarely applied, and when it is applied is because the health conditions are such that CDC has recommended that we use it to try to keep populations from intermingling in ways that could lead to worse results when something like COVID-19 hits us.
Right, and I would take that as the answer if you didn't also support Title 42 authority to continue the mask mandate on airplanes, to mask children in Head Start programs, to authorize the eviction moratoriums. So you got to be consistent. You either believe that Title 42 is still a necessary thing to do because of COVID, or you don't. So which is it?
Well, in the various instances that you've raised, you'll see that the guidance that CDC has provided has changed, whether it is for cruise ships, whether it is for children in school settings. They've all been adapting to what the facts and the medicine and the science tells us should be the case with regard to those.
I find it hard to believe that the science tells us that there's still COVID on airplanes, even though that's been debunked wildly. I mean, many times, given the infiltration systems on airplanes. They're still pushing for that mandate, but there's no COVID on the border with 8,000 people crossing every single day. And with Title 42 rescinded, all estimates, this isn't even a partisan estimate, all estimates point to about 18,000 a day. So again, which is it? Is COVID still a problem or is it not?
Congressman, maybe you disagree, but we are losing more than 300 Americans a day. We still have over 1,000 Americans being hospitalized every day.
So it is a problem. So then why not keep Title 42 at the border? Why not allow those expulsions?
Because as I explained, the law that I used to declare a public health emergency is different from the law, Title 42, that you're referencing, that has used principally and only very infrequently to deal with things like quarantines.
Right.
We have seen an evolution of the pandemic.
I know, but again, there's clearly no consistency here, and that's the problem.
There is absolutely consistency in what CDC has done. The CDC has been using the facts and the science to drive what it does. Cruise ships are different from schools, which are different from the border. And it's not a cookie-cutter approach to the use of our healthcare authorities. Title 42 is not the same as the emergency declaration.
I think we've utterly failed to provide the scientific data and scientific backing for saying that COVID measures are still required for children over 2 years old and on airplanes, when both of those things have been debunked many times, versus the border with 18,000 people potentially crossing every day. And by the way, filling up our hospitals, filling up on buses, moving into the United States, getting tickets to wherever they want. This is a problem. And also to say that HHS doesn't deal with immigration and that you look at this completely separately, that's also not true, because you oversee ORR, right? Which is the unaccompanied minor. So how on earth can HHS deal with a tripling, quadrupling of unaccompanied minors coming through your system when you rescind Title 42?
Congressman, once again, By law, we are the entity, ORR, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which takes custody of a child that is unaccompanied by an adult found at the border. By law, the Department of Homeland Security cannot hold that child for more than 72 hours. We then provide accommodation.
I understand what your job is. I'm saying
That's
there's
not
no, there's
immigration
no
law.
way you can do it under these conditions. I don't care how much money we give you.
We're doing
how many you're not, though. It's impossible. You're
Congressman, you
letting
understand that
people
Title
go
42
in
hasn't-
vast quantities.
Congressman, you understand
That's a
that Title
problem.
42, you understand, Congressman, that Title 42 has not applied to those children since
No, I
December
understand that,
2020.
but here's what happens, right? You have an excessive number of people crossing the border, and along with that is more people. They come in large groups. This will happen in by extraordinary numbers without
Gentleman's
Title
time has
42, and
expired.
everybody agrees with that.